recording.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can hit record. I can edit out the first part.
Okay.
Alright. So we get started. 3, 2. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
My name is Kevin Marshall. I'll be conducting your assessment. Before we start, I just want to get to know a few basic things about yourself. But I would like to start with saying how you doing today. How you feeling?
So.
We all have our ups and downs. Hopefully, we can help you and get you to where you need to be. I just need to collect some basic information from you first. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. What is your name?
Kelly
And your last name, Kelly?
Jones.
And Kelly, do you have an active phone number that we can contact you through?
Yes. 222 538 5000.
And what is your address?
1000 Kent Street in Durham, North Carolina. 27707.
Is this a house or an apartment?
House.
Okay. And do you have an active email address?
Yes. Kelly J at yahoo.com.
And how old are you, Kelly?
30.
And what is your date of birth?
620.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5 feet.
And your weight?
190.
And what is your gender and preferred pronouns?
She, her.
And what race do you identify with?
African American.
And your ethnicity?
Non-Hispanic.
And how was you referred to me?
My homegirl told me about this place and I just called up here to get help.
Okay. In case of emergencies, do you have a contact?
My mama.
And her name?
Cynthia Jones. She lived at the same address as me. Her number is 984 285 6268.
Okay. So now that we got the basic information out the way, we can start the assessment. So, what brings you in here today?
Well, I'm sad all the time.
And how long has this been going on?
For about 8 months.
Has it been 8 months consistently?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel good, but it don't last very long.
Okay, do you have any history in your family of like depression or anything like that?
Um, I wouldn't know. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't have a good history background of my dad's side, but on my mom, I just got my mom and my grandma.
Okay. So, what are some of the symptoms that you feel like you're dealing with when you're sad? How does that look?
Crying. I just want to be by myself a lot. Mm, I feel like hopeless. Like it's nothing I can do to feel better. Um, Guilty.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No, I don't.
What do you do for employment?
I work as a manager at Sunbright Movie Theater.
And how long have you been working there?
3 years.
And when you're feeling sad or feeling depressed, does it affect your work? Like, do you miss work or be late to work due to it?
Sometimes I get up a little later, but most of the time I'm able to get to work. Sometimes I just try to go to work so I don't feel sad. So sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't.
Okay, well, a lot of people are late to work sometimes. That's normal. You know, some days are always going to be better than others. So you say that you've been dealing with this for roughly 8 months. During your childhood or teenage years, did you ever deal with any of this?
Yes, when my nana died.
And how old were you when your nana passed away?
12.
And how long was you in that frame of mind for after your nana passed away?
I don't really think I ever overcame it. I think I still struggle with it today.
And would you say that was consistent from the age of 12 to now, or was it periodically?
I think that when I lost my nana, that was the first person that I lost, and then I just was majorly depressed, and then I continued to experience loss. And over the years,
Who else did you lose?
my cousin, my uncle, and a close friend, my childhood friend.
And were these natural deaths, or how did they pass away?
Violence.
All three of them?
Yes. I really feel like because of this, I always had problems with sleep. Like I either slept too much or I couldn't sleep at all. Or when I went to sleep, I ended up waking up. I can't stay asleep.
Okay. What would you say your home environment and your community environment is like?
Um, and it's cool. I got a house and I have the things that I need.
Is your family like a spiritual family or?
We love God, but I wouldn't say we don't go to church.
What would you say is some of your core values?
Um, Being successful is want to be successful, and I'm a big sister, so being a big sister, a good one, like a role model.
And how old is your little sister?
20.
Okay. And what are your interests? Like, what are some of your hobbies? What do you do in your leisure time?
I like to read books. I like to sew. Um, and dance.
How often do you perform these tasks when you're feeling depressed?
I don't really do it. I just feel like I can't do anything. Like, it's just hard for me to complete things. And I don't like to go out of the house.
Um, what are some of your goals in life?
Well, I want to finish a trade, but I'm not sure which one I want to do yet. Maybe like hospitality or something, since I'm really good at my job as a manager.
Yeah, that's a really good field to go into. I have a few friends that's in that field and they're quite successful. Next, we're going to talk about some of your relationships in your life.
Okay.
So let's start with the family dynamic. How is your relationship with your mother?
It's gotten better over the years, but it has been rocky.
Have you ever seeked any help to improve the relationship?
No, she made me go to therapy, but she never went or came to it or nothing like that.
So, what kind of therapy was you receiving, and how old were you at that time?
I had to go to therapy because of my behaviors after my nana died. I became very angry and I didn't really want to do anything. I didn't want to go to school and I got a lot of fights. I just felt like I really didn't know how I was feeling. I just was mad.
So you were 12 years old at this time?
Well, I went to therapy between 12 and 14.
And how did you feel after completing your therapy sessions?
I mean, it was cool, but I don't really think it did anything.
You wasn't any less angry or mad?
I mean, I think once I don't know, I just felt like once I got into my program for school at high school, I started to feel like it worked a little bit, but I still felt confused and upset and just somewhat still mad, but not as much.
And how about colleagues at work or friends? How's your relationship with them?
Um, I really don't have a lot of friends. I just have a small circle of friends. It's like me and my childhood friends, and I don't make friends at work. I'm there at work. I'm not there for friends.
Um, how's your personal relationships as far as, intimacy?
I have, I have a boyfriend, but we just be on and off together, on and off. So it's really nothing consistent there. We just get back together and break up. Get back together and break up.
Do you feel like it's due to your depression or is there other outside factors that may be taking place?
I feel like he make me feel more depressed sometimes. So I just try to get away from him so I can feel okay enough to go to work because I don't want to lose my job.
Okay, are you involved like in your community or anything like any volunteer work or extracurricular activities in the community you may do?
I help the dance team in my community. It's a youth dance team.
And doing that, does that bring you like any joy or pleasure?
Yeah, I like working with the young girls. I feel like sometimes this helps me to not be so depressed.
Okay, so we did discuss your social life. You said you only have a few childhood friends that's in your circle. You also mentioned that you don't make any friends at work. You're there to work and not to make friends.
Hmm.
Um, what's the highest level of education have you received?
Some college.
And do you currently have any legal issues?
Traffic tickets.
In the past, have you had any psychiatric medications? I know you said you went to, at 12, you was seeing a therapist. Did they prescribe you any medications or anything?
Yes, when I was young, they did have me on all kinds of meds. My mom took me to them people, and first they had me said I was ADHD, and they had me on meds for that. But I went somewhere else, and they took me off of them because it made me feel weird. And then I was prescribed depression medication, but I wasn't really taking it. Like, my mom thought I was, but I wasn't really taking it. And then throughout my 20s, when I tried to go to college, well, I did go to college, but I just could not finish. But I was on Zoloft and another medication, I can't remember it.
Okay. So next we're going to discuss a little bit about your family history. Where's your family originally from?
New York.
Which part?
Newburgh.
And what would you say is your socioeconomic background?
Middle class.
And earlier you mentioned that you didn't really know much about your father's side of the family. Is your father in the picture?
Yeah, but we just don't have a close relationship with his family. It's like after my nana died, we just don't. That was kind of the only person I was close to on my dad's side, other than my cousin who passed away.
Okay, next we will be discussing your physical health. Current and past medical issues. Do you did you have like any operations or hospitalizations in the past?
I had a cyst one time, and I had to go to the doctor for it. But I think after 4 days or so, they let me go home because I was okay.
And that was the only time you had any hospitalizations?
Yes, sir. I don't have any other health conditions.
Okay. Next we will discuss substance use. Do you partake in any substance use?
I smoke cigarettes and I smoke weed.
How often would you say you smoke?
Every day.
And how much weed would you say you consume in a weekly period?
I smoke a half a ball a day, so I would say A lot. To be honest, sir, a lot.
Okay. And what about cigarettes? How many packs do you go through roughly in a week?
I say I smoke a pack a day.
And what would you say your reasons for partaking in these substances?
I don't even know if I'd be able to do anything if I didn't smoke. I feel like it helps me to be able to get through the day. I don't feel like anxiety or like scared to do stuff. My mood is better because sometimes I just be really moody and I don't really want to be bothered. And then if I do, I'm easily upset and I just feel like flipping out. But smoking just helps me be calm.
Okay. So for this next part, we're going to be doing a risk assessment. Now, I just want to tell you this before we enter this section of the assessment. Everything that we speak about is confidential. However, if you tell me anything that's putting yourself or others at risk, I will have to report it.
Okay.
Okay, so within the past month, have you had any thoughts of suicide or any suicide ideations?
No, sir.
Any thoughts of any self-harm or anything of that nature?
No, I felt like that when I was younger, and I used to cut myself, but then when I went to therapy, that's when I ended up stop doing it. But since then, I haven't had any suicidal thoughts or anything like that. I feel like I want to live and I want to do better and I want to have a future, a prosperous future.
What would you consider to be some of your strengths on how do you cope with your depression?
I like to work. I feel like I'm a good worker. I feel like I'm a team player. My team works good at work. Like I'm good at my job, and I think I'm a good big sister. I try to be the best person I can be, around my sibling and the young girls who I dance with on the dance team. And I can sew good too.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a good role model to these young girls and to your little sister, which is always a positive thing.
Thank you.
Next, we will be discussing your mental status.
Okay.
So, mentally, right now, where would you rank yourself? high functioning, low functioning?
I would say moderate because